You think your HOA is bad? Try Cactus Cove Lakeside, Arizona, where the reservoir sparkles like a postcard and the rules choke tighter than a cheap necktie at a funeral. Cole Ramsey kept his weathered waterfront lot for one reason only, the dock. His dad taught him to bait a hook there when he was 10, and after the old man's funeral, Cole rebuilt every inch with his own calloused hands. Hand-cut oak planks, rust-proof bolts, even a little fish-cleaning slab at the end. Nothing fancy. Just real. Just theirs. The letters started coming like clockwork. Mr. Ramsey, your dock violates Community Aesthetic Code 4.2, visual blight on the shoreline. Unauthorized structure generating unsanctioned organic residue. Organic residue. Cole read that one allowed in his kitchen and laughed so hard his coffee went cold. His lot predated the entire masterplan nightmare by 37 years, but President Eleanor Voss and her clipboard crew had just redefined boundaries with a sneaky new ordinance, dragging old properties under their velvet boot for cohesive harmony. Cole told them to pound sand. Politely. In writing. Certified mail. Then came the Thursday night he dragged home after a 36-hour shift. The dock was gone, sawed, smashed, dragged onto his lawn like roadkill. Fresh sawdust still drifting in the desert breeze. Taped to a snap beam, a laminated notice. Emergency compliance action completed by Cactus Cove HOA President Eleanor Voss. Structure removed for immediate public safety. Cole stood in the wreckage, jaw locked, staring at the empty water where his memories used to float. No notice. No hearing. No warrant. Just gone. He didn't scream. He didn't call the news. He simply walked inside, pulled the original 1972 plat map, the water rights deed, and the easement agreement that showed the only road to the community boat ramp cut straight across his land. Goodwill easement. Goodwill that had officially expired. Friday morning before the long Memorial Day weekend, Cole rolled a heavy steel gate across that exact spot, chained it with a beast of a padlock, and posted the sign, private property. Trespassers prosecuted to the full extent. No exceptions. 230 boats were now prisoners in their own marina. Yachts, pontoons, jet skis, fishing rigs, all trapped behind one man's gate on one man's dirt. The marina parking lot turned into a circus by 9 a.m. grown men in $300 fishing shirts paced like caged tigers. Kids whined. Phones melted down. The HOA hotline lit up, so hard the receptionist quit on the spot. Cole sat on his porch with black coffee and a camera rolling, watching the show he never auditioned for. At 10:47 a.m. silver Mercedes slammed into the gravel. Eleanor Voss exploded out, platinum helmet hair, pastel mint blazer, heels stabbing the ground like tiny guillotines. Mr. Ramsey, you have 5 minutes to remove that lock or I'm calling the sheriff. Cole strolled down the slope like he had all week. Morning, Eleanor. Funny, I said the same thing about my dock before your crew showed up at 2 a.m. with saws and no permit. This is a community resource, she snapped, voice dripping artificial sweetener. The boat launch serves every resident. Cole pulled the folded plat map from his back pocket. Not according to the deed filed in Maricopa County, 1972. This road is mine. I let you use it out of neighborly kindness. Kindness died the night you turned my father's dock into toothpicks. Her perfectly lined lips parted, but nothing came out for 3 full seconds. The boat owners behind her had gone dead quiet, staring. Let's be adults, she tried again, voice dropping to that fake reasonable tone. We can discuss rebuilding your structure. Perhaps a modest compromise. Cole smiled slow and cold. Compromise? You didn't knock. You didn't call. You sent a demolition crew at midnight and billed the HOA for shoreline beautification. I have the invoices. Want to see them? Her eyes flicked to the growing mob of furious residents. Murmurs turned to outright growls. Charter captains were already losing thousands. Families had driven 4 hours for a holiday, now floating in limbo. You're turning the entire neighborhood against you, she hissed. No, Cole said quietly. You did that the second you decided your rules beat the law. By late afternoon the sheriff arrived. Cole handed over the drone footage. Old unit his nephew left behind, quietly recording the shoreline 24/7, plus the land records and those suspicious invoices. The deputy flipped pages, whistled low, and looked straight at Eleanor. Ma'am, tearing down a private dock without notice, permit, or court order. That's criminal mischief, at minimum. Possibly felony destruction of property. Eleanor straightened her blazer like armor. It was for the aesthetics, officer. Surely you understand civilized living. The officer didn't blink. Civilized usually involves due process. Cole's sister, sharp as a razor real estate attorney, filed everything with the county, the Arizona Game and Fish, and the Bureau of Reclamation. Federal reservoir. Federal violation. The dominoes started falling. Other residents smelled blood. The woman whose koi pond got bulldozed last year showed up with photos. The guy fined weekly for a flagpole he'd flown since 2008 brought receipts. Cole's sister compiled a binder thick enough to stop a bullet. By Monday, the local news van was camped across the street. By Tuesday, a grand jury subpoena landed on Eleanor's desk. Turns out her brother-in-law's emergency landscaping company had pocketed $120,000 in HOA funds. Shell LLC, no bids, invoices marked beautification, for work that never happened. The emergency board meeting turned into a riot. Residents packed the room waving signs. Free the boats, fire the board. Eleanor tried to gavel them down. Someone played the leaked emails where she literally wrote, "Time to teach that hold out a lesson." The room lost its mind. Their own bylaws required 72 hours public notice for emergency sessions. They'd skipped it. Another violation. Another nail. The recall petition hit 63% in 48 hours. Mandatory election. Eleanor's last public statement blamed one selfish resident disrupting community harmony. The comments section roasted her alive. Election Saturday, the boardroom was standing room only. Stickers everywhere. Rebuild trust, no more midnight demolitions. When the votes were read, every single board member was gone. New volunteers elected on the spot, including the koi pond lady and the flagpole guy. Their first act, formal apology to Cole and immediate withdrawal of every enforcement action lacking documentation. Their second, cut the lock on live camera while the crowd cheered like the Super Bowl. Cole didn't gloat. He just handed the new chairperson the key and said, "Try not to lose it again." He rebuilt the dock stronger, solar lights, reinforced pilings, security cameras feeding straight to the cloud. Neighbors showed up with tools and cold beer. For the first time in years, it felt like actual community, not a police state with palm trees. Eleanor? Indicted on wire fraud, conspiracy, and destruction of property. Trial lasted 4 days. The jury was out less than 2 hours. Guilty on all counts. 3 years, full restitution. The association gutted the worst bylaws and turned into a loose volunteer group for potlucks and lake cleanups. No more fines for breathing wrong. No more secret crews. Now Cole fishes most mornings, rod in hand, new wooden plaque on the cleaning station that simply reads, "For reminding us what freedom looks like." No signature. Didn't need one. The lake is quiet again. Boats come and go without fear. Kids cast lines off the new dock. And every once in a while a neighbor waves and says, "Thanks, Cole." True or false? The HOA was just protecting community harmony, and Cole was the real villain for using his own property rights? Drop your answer below. Because in Cactus Cove, the only thing that got demolished for good was the empire that thought it could touch what wasn't theirs.